Welcome to AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. Educate. Celebrate. Connect. Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Welcome to Arizona Barrio Stories on Latino USA TV. I love this show. This show brings me to laughter. It's a really kick to work with David. David Paraluna is from AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection, and he always has good nuggets for us, good topics. Today, what do we have in store today, David? Welcome.
Well, first of all, thank you, Irma. I agree with you. We're coming to the close of the year. We have a month or two. It's been a great ride to do shows, conversations with you. And then the folks behind cameras, they always make us laugh, right? So it's always fun coming here and addressing fun, but then serious topics, very serious. How about today? We talk about what happens if your Social Security number is stolen.
And we were talking off air. I mean, It's out there. We know it's out there with different branches of organizations or things that we think it's secure. Mm-hmm. So hopefully it's secure wherever it is.
When you think about it, if they hack you, say your credit cards, there's always a way to recover, right? You basically prove to the company, the bank, or what have you, that it was fraudulent, and they'll reimburse the money on the bank account, credit card. Relatively easy, I would say, because they understand and they are monitoring as well. So when you really think about it, one piece of information that fraudsters want is your Social Security number. Think about it. If they get your driver's license number, what can they do with it? Some things, of course. Again, your credit card number, you call, it's fraud. They'll cancel your credit card and they'll send you another one. And most of the times with credit, they refund you easily, no problem. With debit, they may do a little bit more investigation, and then they still refine you. But I believe that what really worries people is their Social Security number, because you know how they say we are just a number? Well, if we were just a number, which I believe that we're not, right? We're more than just a number, but it would have to be the Social Security number. The Social Security number is a very, very important piece of information about ourselves, so much so that even Social Security, the administration, they do not easily allow you or grant you a new number. Even though you may have gone through a lot or the number has gone through a lot, they're not going to do that easily. There are some situations where they can grant you a new number. For the most part, they don't. Because that number has a lot about you, and primarily it has your work history and then credit. So work history, credit, Social Security, all that is linked to your Social Security number. So why don't we address, Irma, where does your Social Security show up? That's a good question.
That's a very good question.
Because if you know where it shows up, that may give you a better, opportunity to deal with if somebody stole it, and now you're worried. What if they got my Social Security number? What am I supposed to do? Where do I track it, right? So let's kind of review a few places where Social Security shows up. Number one, of course, the Social Security Administration has your number.
Well, they gave it to us, so they should know it.
Definitely. And then another thing, especially as one is born, they apply for the Social Security number, they get it, and now you have it. Maybe you won't use it until when you start employment, right? You're a student, you go to school, you usually don't need it. until you go to work. When you go to work, it shows up again there. So the employer is going to ask you for your Social Security number. Why? Because it's linked to taxes. And it's linked to your Social Security work record. That's important. Social Security, employer, IRS, taxes, Social Security, your work record towards your pension from Social Security. Yes. You're almost there? I still have a few years, but I'm looking at it closer than before, for sure.
I'm only 16, remember.
Yes. So Social Security shows up again, Social Security Administration, and then at the employer. So employers do have your Social Security number. Of course, we trust the employers are going to take care of them. They're not just going to let anybody get them and get numbers, take pictures of numbers, etc. We kind of trust them, right? Then when you file taxes, obviously the IRS now has your number. That's another place that it shows up. Social Security Administration, employers, and then the IRS. Then another important place where Social Security numbers appear is on credit. When you apply for a student loan, a mortgage, whatever kind of loan, credit, which is loans in essence, they're going to ask you for your Social Security number. Why do they need that? Right? Again, to find out about your credit score. What is this credit score thing? Well, now it brings the three companies. Remember the three credit companies that are, you could say, legitimized by the government, right? Recognized by the government. What are they? TransUnion, Expedient, and Equifax. So now these companies also have your number to keep track of how much money, how much credit you get, what company you got it from, whether you have good credit, bad credit. So now the three companies have your credit. And as if that was not enough, in some medical spheres, they also ask you. Though you have the right to ask them, why are you asking me for my Social Security number, right? And these days it's very common for them to say, well, just give me the last four. They still want to make sure through that last four digits, they have a way to verify your full number and then that it's you. That's all. They want to identify you, right? That's
Scary. I mean, it's out there in so many different places.
Definitely. So I just can't think of any other place. I mean, if you have retirement accounts, for sure they're going to have your Social Security number, because a 401k, life insurance, they're going to report to the government, right, one day that they gave you some money from that account. So obviously they're going to link it to your Social Security number. So we could say that even those companies, financial institutions, they also have your Social Security, provided that you have opened a 401k, an annuity, or a retirement account, IRA, what have you, of some sort. Wow. Come to think of it, Social Security numbers appear in many, many places.
Too many.
So when it comes time to monitoring, right, I think let's start by saying that it is very important to file taxes soon. Why? Because if somebody else is using your Social Security number and you didn't know it, and they file taxes before you do, when you file taxes, you're going to have issues. Now you're going to have to prove that it is you, the owner of that number, and not the other person. So it's very, very, very much recommended that we file taxes as soon as possible, right? As soon as we get the W-2, as soon as we get all the proofs of wages or income for that past year. It's also recommended that everybody opens a Social Security account. Very important. Because there, remember, it keeps your work history, years worked, wages made. Well, if you open an account, what can you do? You can go there and find out what years you've worked to make sure that it is you that worked and the wages that you made. Because if somebody else has been filing taxes, let's say if you skip a year or two, somebody else, then you could be in trouble, right? So that's important to do that. Check your credit reports. This is extremely important. I just pulled mine not so long ago, and you can request it as a PDF from one of the three companies. I already mentioned them, right? So actually this one, sorry, this is different. This is annualcreditreport.com. Annualcreditreport.com. That's when you can pull your credit. And let's remember that you can pull one report from one company in 4 months. You can do the same from the second company, and in another 4 months from the third company. You can end up getting 3 reports a year.
Do you have to pay for that?
No, that's free, which is very good. So that way you can track to see if anybody out there has opened up credit under your name. So let's not panic when somebody steals your Social Security. Don't panic. Take action, right? And these are the sort of actions that you can take. Open up your create my account at socialsecurity.gov. File taxes soon. Get your credit reports from the 3 companies. Consider freezing your credit. Did you know you can freeze your credit? I think you do, don't you?
And tell us why.
You can freeze your credit so that nobody can get credit, even if they stole your Social Security numbers. When that other person goes to get credit under your name, it's going to appear as being frozen, and they're going to ask that person, unfreeze it so I can process your loan. And that person has no way to unfreeze the credit. So
Good to know.
they won't be able to get you. File tax early, I think I already said. Fraud alerts are also recommended. Did you know that you can ask those credit bureaus to put in a fraud alert? And what is that going to do? Then the person, the company issuing the credit is going to ask more questions because they're going to see that flag, right? Oh, here's a fraud alert. I better make sure that this person is the owner of the number. And we already talked about creating the Social Security account. So again, annual credit report is the page to get the credits. TransUnion is one of the companies. Experian is the other one. And Equifax is the other one. There you have it.
Well, as usual, you've hit those topics. I hope people have jotted some notes down. Thank you for being a part of our show. Thank you for bringing all this vast information. Sometimes it's like, oh,
yes, and I appreciate Arizona Barrio Stories and the other channels for allowing AARP to offer this important and trustworthy information. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Social Security, your number, it's out there. Be aware that you need to monitor that number, and hopefully nobody has touched your accounts or tried to mess with it. Thank you for being a part of this program today, and hopefully you've gained a little bit of information. Thank you from Arizona Barrio Stories, Latino USA TV, and AARP, Arizona Hispanic Connection. We will see you soon.